Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mary Elizabeth Jones' Variety Hour.
This is the 80th show.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway, this was there. This few days ago, James Earl Jones died.
Yes.
And what do you remember about James Earl Jones?
Yeah, he was the Darth Vader,
He was the voice of Darth Vader. Yeah.
and that he played on the Verizon commercials,
That's right.
and
He still does, I think, some of the voices there. I mean, they still have his recording
yeah.
from like 20, 30 years ago.
And he also played Alex Haley.
Alex Haley in The Roots. That's right.
On
Roots.
yeah, Roots.
Yeah. He was in the sequel to Roots. There was Roots 2, which I forget where the first one ended, but then it continued through the life of Alex Haley to the present moment. And
There's also
Yeah.
a series called Queen.
he was on that.
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, of Roots. Okay. I didn't see that show. I watch everything. But let me tell you, first time I saw not Alex Haley.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. You know, without the Earl, he's just James Jones, the guy who wrote From Here to Eternity.
Yeah.
Or Jim Jones, the guy, the Reverend Jim Jones, the guy with the Kool-Aid. No, James Earl Jones, man with three names.
Mhm.
You could see him in Doctor Strangelove. He has a small part as a pilot, and you also see him in. He plays Malcolm X in a movie
Oh yeah, I remember that.
about
I remember that, yeah.
Muhammad Ali.
Mm.
He played. He was the first black president I think Irving Wallace wrote a book they made into a movie called The Man, and that was good, you know. But it was back in the 70s. The first time I saw James Earl Jones was on Sesame Street, and I never saw anyone who looks like James Earl Jones before. He had a bald head, like Mr. Clean.
Oh yeah.
And he did A, B, C, D. He did the alphabet.
Oh yeah.
1, 2, 3. And I remember that voice. I remember that look. And I remember, I'd never. Let's face it. 10, more like 8 years old. I never saw a man who looked like that. And then he was on a show called Omnibus with a beard and hair. And I said, "Oh, what happened to that bald look?" And Dad told me that he saw him in a movie where he looked the way I was telling you about, The Great White Hope, and he played the most famous black athlete of his day, Jack Johnson, the first heavyweight champion. It's a very good play. I guess he was in the play on Broadway, but it was a movie too. It's still a good movie about Jack Johnson, who was the first black athlete of any note. And he won the boxing championship in the 1900s, around before the World War One. And so anyway, so over the years I see him in all these movies and everything. And then I'm in a movie with James Earl Jones, and it was the Vernon John story. I think we've talked about this before. And he played a guy called Vernon Johns. He was the first. You probably know Rosa Parks, who wouldn't go to the back of the bus. Well, this guy did it before her, but he wasn't a very pleasant guy. She was a good symbol for civil rights. He was sort of a belligerent kind of, I think he was a preacher or something. And so anyway, and he had these daughters, and he's always bossing them around, and he was always yelling at people, and always felt he was, but he was the first guy to do this, and that is significant. He refused black pride, not to go to the back of the bus. Now, in this movie, my niece and my dad and I were white people. We're in the front of the bus in that same scene. So we filmed the scene over and over again in Richmond's Chimborazo Park in Churchill. And I got to meet him, and I tell him about Sesame Street. I tell him about the Great White Hope and how much I've enjoyed his stuff over the years. And I asked him, "Who's your favorite actor working today?" He said, "Kevin Costner." I said, "Kevin Costner?" But he was in a really good movie with Kevin, probably his best movie, Field of Dreams. He's
Yeah.
in that. There's also Burt Lancaster's one of his last films. So of course, James Earl Jones is he's always good in movies. He's in the Eddie Murphy Coming to America movies.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, the part I want to tell you was the part I want to tell you is that I do imitations, and you've seen me on other shows doing imitations, and somebody said, and I was doing James Earl Jones when he wasn't around to the other extras, and somebody yelled out, "Hey, this guy does an imitation of you. Want to hear it?" And he turns and he goes, "I'd like to hear it." And so I said, "Oh gosh, I don't want to. I've never done a impression of a famous person in front of that famous. Not even since then have I done it." So I had to keep it. I did that thing on my feet. I said the first thing. So I made it very simple and said, "This is CNN." And everybody laughed, and he laughed.
Yeah.
I guess he's used to it. Everyone has a James Earl Jones imitation in their back pocket waiting to go.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones, he was, I saw him, on television a few months ago. He looked fine,
Yeah.
He was the voice of Darth Vader, of course. For many years, it wasn't in the credits. He was the voice in The Lion King. Who's the Papa Lion in that?
The
The one who dies at near the beginning. The Lion King is based on Hamlet. If you haven't already figured that out. But one of my niece's favorite movies, The Lion King, and I told she's actually the daughter of the little girl that's also in the James Earl Jones movie I was talking about. And I said, so I said, "I have an in with you." He says, "What do you mean?" She said, "Your favorite movie is The Lion King. I made a movie with the voice of the Papa Lion in The Lion King." And she says, "Big deal. My mother was in that movie too." And so was my grandfather. And so now, if you're a Lion King fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you're a Verizon subscriber, if you like CNN, just call on me and I'll give you my autograph. The man who worked with James Earl Jones. Now, so that was that. Anyway, and I'm very proud of myself what I did today. I actually programmed my my television set. I got rid of my cable. I got rid of my internet, and I got rid of my of my landline. I don't need any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Landline. I have a cell phone. I don't need a landline. Okay. Cable. I can't watch TV anymore. I just go on YouTube and watch that. Almost everything you can watch on TV winds up on the internet anyway.
Yeah.
So now Wi-Fi, of course, I'm going to miss that. But I found out my health club has Wi-Fi, so I can bring my laptop there, download everything I want to see, and then when prime time comes, I can watch late night talk shows and stuff. But anyway, I do want to watch some television, like like sports and stuff on the weekends. And I had this really nice TV, but I didn't know how to. Once you take the cable out, then it's just a box with a screen on it.
Yeah.
And so you have to reset and reprogram everything. And I got in trouble with a friend of ours, Keith Van Allen.
Yeah.
Keith Van Allen. I was able to hook up a antenna box, two VCRs, a CD player, and I think I was able to hook them all together onto a TV and still have the regular TV shows on, and so I could tape on my VCR or play my CDs or something. Whoa. I'm always wary when this happens. I have to talk louder because he can't hear my voice when the wind is blowing. So what happened was Keith Van Allen was very excited that I did this, and he said, "Well, did you plug the blue wire into the blue hole, or did you have to get an adapter? Did you have to do this?" And you know what I told him?
What?
No, I just hooked it all up and then and then just kept working at it, and that didn't work. I put the blue wire back in the red hole, and the yellow hole into the red yellow wire into the green hole or something, until I got it what I wanted. He goes, that is exactly what I did not want to hear from you. I said, I think that a lot of the great inventions were made that way. So,
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Oh, and technology. We were talking about technology. I was on the internet, and I bought some stuff on eBay and stuff. What does TB stand for? Giga. I know GB is gigabyte. TB is like 1,000 gigabytes. Well, anyway,
Something like that, yeah.
they had 4 TB hard drive, external hard drive, for like $25. So, and you can't get 2 TB for about $100 at the computer store. So I said, oh man, what a bargain! But then the guy says, "Are you sure you want this?" I said, "Why? Is there anything wrong with it?" He goes, "Well, it may not work with your computer." And I said, "Well, I have this so-and-so computers. I should work fine." I don't think it worked with Apple's. It only worked with everything that wasn't Apple. Worked with Windows.
Yeah.
I don't think Apples have Windows. So Windows are on everything else, and Apple has just Apple stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all Apples and Windows to me. So anyway, so what happened was so then just a few days later I saw even a better deal. It was like for $15 you can get 2 TB, and it wasn't even a wire with a hard drive. It was a thumb drive, a little thing like this with 2 TB on there. So now I have I haven't gotten it yet because I ordered it and it's coming in the mail. But I have all this stuff on its way. 6 TB, which is probably more than I will ever need. But I'm constantly downloading stuff and taking pictures and making shows like this and everything. So I want to, your hard drive might be the most valuable thing you own. Like if the house is on fire. Grab your hard drive, your external hard drive. That's where all your pictures are. That's where all your home movies are. That's where all your the book you're planning to write. All that is on there. So I want to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've been listening. But I listen to a lot of music. You've been listening to what?
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer.
I used to have that cassette when I was growing up.
Yeah, there's MC Hammer.
And my cousins and I used to dance to it.
Oh yeah, with those big pants, genie pants?
Yeah, the hits that he made were "You Can't Touch This," which is a sample of Rick James' "Super Freak."
Yes.
And also, let's call it a song called "Pray."
I heard "You Can't Touch This" because I'm so young. I heard "You Can't" before I heard Rick James' version of it, which is the original version. The music is from it. He gets a credit for it. I guess he collected a lot of money for it. He went to jail too, Rick James, and died soon after that. Rick James was the first black celebrity to tell the world that O.J. was guilty. But he was in prison at the time, so I think O.J.'s people said, a guy in prison you're going to listen to? He's not very reliable. Rick James, of course, was famous for that famous Dave Chappelle, "I'm Rick James."
Yeah.
That was so funny. But let's get back to MC Hammer. MC Hammer had a very meteoric rise, and then you didn't hear from him anymore.
And then he went bankrupt.
He went bankrupt. He overextended himself. I don't know why. There's a lot of rappers out there that still do well. He was his claim to fame before he was famous was he was the bat boy for the Oakland A's. I think when they were winning all those with Reggie Jackson and Catfish Hunter and Gene Tennis, those days.
I think I heard
in the early '70s. Yeah.
I think I heard something about he's doing gospel music now.
Well, okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Listen, these guys, they do everything to keep popular. But I still haven't heard that much about MC Hammer. You might see him on one of these like celebrity nostalgia shows. MC Hammer, of course, really overextended. He was quite the guy. He was in the Navy. He was a Navy veteran before he was famous. He Yeah, he was something else. He did a lot of ads. I don't know how he went bankrupt. You think? Actually, you want to know something? I don't. Anyone who has a lot of money and then loses it all, I really have no sympathy for them. Now, what usually happens with these guys are I don't hear so much about his private life, but a lot of these guys get married a few times, and then they divorce, and their fortune gets halved and halved and halved to the point that's really bad happened with the guy who was the heir to, I think, the Woolworths. Was it Woolworths? Fortune, and and he didn't have any money left. He was good at spending money, not good at making money.
Yeah.
Inheriting money. But anyway, Huntington Hartford, I think was his name. Anyway, but in the case of MC Hammer, I think he was just buying a lot of stuff. But I mean, if you buy mansions and all, you're still going to have the mansions. You still could sell the man. The price of property goes up all the time. Very rarely does it go down. Maybe the bad neighborhood goes bad or something. But even then, you can still sell it for some sort of profit. Yeah. But MC Hammer, what else can I tell you about MC Hammer? Never acted. I never saw him in a movie or anything or TV. I think they tried to. I think he did a few pilots for like cop shows or something, basically on his persona. But yeah. But I always liked MC Hammer. He seemed like a cool guy. Yeah. I'm just so upset that he became a has-been very fast. Usually it takes a while to become a has-been. But that's MC Hammer. Yes.
I was 10 years old when that album came out.
Hammer Time.
Hammer Time.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
Remember this guy?
Ricky Martin, yes.
Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin was great. He's still around. Ricky Martin is now an actor. He's on that show, Palm Springs or something. The show with Kristen Wiig and Carol Burnett. He's on that show.
He did that one hit, "Living La Vida Loca."
Living La Vida. Oh, that is so good. He's one of those guys never, unlike MC Hammer, he's never out of work. Even when you don't hear from him so much, he's still popular in the Spanish language charts. He still has lots of hits. Almost every CD you get of wait, Ricky Martin's funny.
Oh. Let me tell you a second.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. My grandfather, when I used to listen to Ricky Martin all the time, I used to have his CDs.
Yeah.
When my grandfather sat there with me and listened to it, he's like, I can't even hear him. All I keep hearing is the band in the background.
That's right. Oh, well, let me tell you. I guess he's a good enough singer. But near the end of a guy's career, like Frank Sinatra or Tony Bennett or something like that, they put the music louder so you could barely hear the guy and all the imperfections of his voice.
just like he said, he also said something about Janet Jackson too.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't even hear her. All you hear is backup band.
I know. Well, there's a famous story. I think it was Tony Bennett. Or Tony Bennett kept his voice pretty well, but he would always have a guy playing the piano very softly while he was, even when he was in his 90s, singing, because he said that anyone could sing well with a big band. Sometimes I do karaoke and sometimes the music is too loud. And then somebody might yell, "It's not loud enough." The joke I always make about guys who have CDs or in the day LPs. I said, did you have a problem with my album? He goes, yeah, the hole in the middle wasn't long enough. It just wasn't big enough. So anyway, but Ricky Martin, what can I tell you about Ricky Martin? Oh, well, getting back to karaoke, one of my favorite songs to sing was She Bangs, which is I still like to sing it. But trouble is, there was a guy on American Idol who sang She Bangs.
I was going to talk about that.
What's his name? Mr. Ho?
Hung
Ho or something.
Andrew Hun or something like
Andrew
that.
Hung. So anyway, what happened was he didn't sing it very well. I sing it not as well as Ricky Martin, but I don't sing it as bad as the other guy does.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's kind of messed it up for everybody singing that song because they're all just, they don't think of Ricky Martin. They think of they think of William Hung.
Yeah, it's so funny.
William not so hung. Anyway, but that She Bangs, I could actually to this day I could probably listen to that song over and over again, never get tired of it. Livin' La Vida Loca is good. Almost every album you get of Ricky Martin, I guess to the current day, any new album, he sings like maybe the top 3 or 4 songs on here in Spanish. I mean, he sings it in English, of course, but then he sings it in Spanish. So he's always he's not. I think he's from Florida. I think he's Puerto Rican. I of descent, but I think he's actually from Florida. But he's a lot of he's like I was mentioning. He always has a career because there's always going to be a market for that type of mambo music. In fact, they had him on the cover when he was at his peak. They had him on the cover of Time magazine and called him the Mambo King.
Yeah.
So my dad said, "Oh yeah, if he's the Mambo King, what mambo songs does he sing?" I said, "Do you know any mambo songs?" And my dad said, "Yeah, Papa Loves Mambo by Perry Como." And then he said, "Papa," and I said, "Oh, that's a real mambo song. How about?" And then he said, "How about Mambo Italiano by Rosemary Clooney?"
Yeah.
Hey, Mambo. So anyway, but I mean, there's always new mambo songs. Actually, the real Mambo King was Desi Arnaz. So
Yeah.
the ice cream man is here. So anyway, I got one last thing to show you. You're gonna love this.
Oh, I love her, Shelby Lynn.
No, it's not Shelby Lynn. Don't get ahead of my.
Oh.
It's this wonderful album. That's not them playing in that's the Ice Cream Man that you might be hearing. So anyway, this is The Trouble with Larry. All right, these are friends of mine, and they have this is an old album of theirs, and this there's a picture of a crazy woman on the back. But he's actually a friend of mine. It's actually a man. Guy who actually does a lot of shows. I'm not going to tell you his name, but you might know him if you know me. And but this is what I really like about it. There's a funny picture here. I wish the Ice Cream Man would go home. All right, this is their thing, and this is like a punk rock band. This is what they look like.
Yeah.
Mark, and there's Richard, and who's the other guy? I don't know who the other guy is.
No.
And here's a picture of them performing. But what's kind of neat about this picture, this blue picture, is this picture is the band, and I took this picture. So there's a credit of me. Where does it say? Maybe there isn't. Maybe
I see Kathy Jones.
Kathy Jones.
I know her.
Is a special guest on this album. Yeah.
There it is.
Booklet back
Kevin
cover
Kravitz.
Photo by Kevin Kravitz. This one, yeah. So
So
Kevin,
you took
that's
that-
that's my real name.
So you took that photo.
I took the photo, yeah, and they put it on the back here. So it's the only time I ever made the big time on a credit on an album. So anyway, so the Trouble with Larry. They have an album at CBGB's in New York, and they also I think they're very popular. I think they're very popular in Germany or something. One of those countries. What? We're doing a TV show right now, so thank you very much. You just made it. You just become famous. We have a special guest star. We have a special guest star here. So anyway, we have the Ice Cream Man over there. We have our fan club over there. Nothing ever changed. Everything's better here. Oh, we both got haircuts over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting too much. Mine. Oh, by the way, your haircut looks nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, my haircut. You know, I don't like getting it cut too short because then all the gray shows. I am the same, close to the same age as Tom Cruise, and about 15 years ago, I felt kind of envied his hair because 15 years ago in like 2010, how does he get his hair so black at his age? Well, 15 years later, his hair is still black. I think I know how he gets his hair black. I told that to someone, and I told it to the guy from The Trouble with Larry, and he said, Mark, he said, hey, he spends a lot of time at the Grecian Islands.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think we're almost done here.
Yes. Well, I just want to thank you all.
I want to thank the band for playing.
Yeah.
On the hurdy-gurdy. I think there's a monkey there that wants a quarter. Anyway.
I just want to thank you all for tuning in, and may God bless y'all.
Yeah, my name's Kaye Lazar. Thank you for tuning in to the 80th version. We're going to keep doing it until we get it right. Of the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary, for a wonderful 80 shows. Here's to another 800 more.
No problem. Okay. All right.